Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. AmusedJester. My name is Junior. This is kind of like a very impromptu review. I just got this literally less than 30 minutes ago. This is kind of like a spur of the moment, kind of one of those impulse buys. But what we're going to do is we're going to review Superman and Krypto from Hot Toys. So I just got back from picking this up tonight. I got it for $350. Now, considering this was $280 MSRP plus tax, it would have been like maybe $300 plus shipping. It would have been $320 from Sideshow. The fact that I got it for $350 flat cash from a local seller, I feel like it's pretty good. So this is actually quite interesting. I didn't really know what to expect with this box. I just saw Jedi Patrol did an unboxing for his in-art, and in-art is usually so much more better when it comes to the boxing. But this one's a little bit more different than a usual Hot Toys product. So I'm just doing a turnaround and everything so you can kind of see what to see. This looks like a silhouette of Metropolis and then Superman here. So that's actually pretty good. There's the other side. And then DC Studios, it's got a slip cover. Let me just pull it off to the side here. And you can see in the slip cover, so it's got a raised Superman symbol, and then you have this one over here. It's pretty cool. It still uses the same slip box, open box that Hot Toys has, and you know me, it was good at least that it looks good. I'm just not really a box collector or anything. Look up in the sky. Now, this was sealed in the shipper box, but I opened it up just for inspection, just to make sure that it's the actual figure. So, like I said, I got this from a local seller, and I'll do the story while I'm unboxing and taking it out. So here's the thing. I wanted the in-art version. Well, here's the thing. When the in-art version was up for pre-order, I did not buy it because I'm trying to not spend so much money. That's why you're not seeing so many more videos from me. So I did not pre-order this figure from in-art, even though I was within the window frame. Plus, I wasn't really that impressed with the Superman movie from James Gunn. I love Superman. I'm really a big Superman fan, but there was just so many plot holes. Like, he took a lot of stuff for granted in terms of storytelling. With a wink, it's like, well, you should know this by now. It's like, but I mean, I don't. You know, for example, how was Lex so smart that he was able to clone a Superman without anybody knowing, and how was he able to get a sample of Superman's DNA when Superman's invulnerable? Why is there no kryptonite on Earth? You know, stuff like that. Even his moves when he's fighting Superman is just ridiculous. Anyway, so what got me into suddenly wanting to get this was the fact that I just saw Supergirl, and I like Supergirl, the movie, and so I wanted to get the in-art version of Supergirl. I was waiting for the price because the Hot Toys one was good, but I really like the look of the in-art one, especially with the rooted hair, because this is the one instance where having really unruly hair is good with the rooted hair, you know, because in the movie she's often has unruly hair. But anyway, the in-art one was $500, which is ridiculous, while the Sideshow was $350 or something like that. So it's a big discrepancy in terms of pricing. when everything's pretty much exactly the way it is, and the difference being that the InArt has silicone body, which I don't think it needed because all the joints are hidden underneath the costume. Why would you put a medical silicone grade body in it and increase the cost? Of course, there's the rooted hair that added to the cost, but still, we're gonna take a look at this hands really quickly, because one of the things with InArt is that the amount of the paint application that they have is so much more better, I think, than Hot Toys. But I'm looking at this now. It seems to be actually pretty good. So let me put the flash on, and we'll do my glasses. I don't know where my, oh, here's my glasses. It's gonna be a long review because we're just gonna be talking. I'm just gonna be talking as we're doing this. Oh, so that's nice. You can see, is the veins are there, but is it painted, or is that just the normal shadowing coming from the fact that it's raised? So in terms of the fingernail, I think I'm just projecting. I don't think the actual fingernails are painted differently from the color of the skin. InArt would do that. They would have like cuticles in this one. In fact, hold on a second. I was gonna bring out one of my InArt hands, but I looked at it. I guess the fingernails aren't painted on InArt, so maybe I'm just projecting. And there's you can see like different flesh tones in this one. Let's look at the straight flight ones. See, I'm not sure if I'm seeing like greenish for the vein work, but you can definitely see some different flesh tones being done on those hands. So good on them. It's like really detailed. A lot of flesh variation, so it's not just a flat stuff. What is this? Kind of like a thumbs up, maybe? But it's holding something. Yes, I'm holding something hands. I'm not sure. It's kind of semi-flexible, so that's good. Two flight hands, good. Close-fisted hand, and he's having relaxed hands. Now the Krypto dog, well known that it's just one solid piece of plastic. Yeah, it is one solid piece of plastic. The eyes aren't really that detailed. It's got a gloss in it. It's got some little bit of wash. A little bit of wash here in the front, here in the ear, a little bit on the thing, but it's pretty much, and then at least the cape is wired. Now Krypto, in the movie, the Superman movie, is not my favorite. He's just too hyper. It seems like really a stupid dog, and Krypto is not supposed to be a stupid dog. But I liked her better in the Supergirl movie. Supergirl movie was just so much more better than the Superman movie, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned. We'll look at the figure later on. We'll keep looking at accessories. So yeah, once I confirmed that, oops, looks like it's one of those things where, okay, let me just move this out of the way. It's just one of those things that I got energized by watching the Supergirl movie, so I wanted to grab that one. So in terms of the Supergirl 1/6 scale, I went with the Hot Toys because it's almost half the price, and everything. So even though I was willing to do an InArt Superman and Hot Toy Supergirl, but at this point, you really can't get an InArt Superman. You can go into waitlist. I don't think it'll convert. I don't recall hearing any news from InArt of any waitlist converting. So this Hot Toys figure is like, well, it's good enough. You know what I mean? I can't pair the new Supergirl with the Henry Cavill Man of Steel figure. That doesn't make sense. Um, so I was looking for the Hot Toys. I was looking at the review too for the Hot Toys. So there's a bunch of stuff that we won't talk about. So this base is bigger than the one that InArt has. Definitely much more pronounced. And yet, the ice crystals from InArt looks so much better than this. This is what we're used to with Hot Toys. It's good enough, but so this is clear and everything, and it's hollow. So I suppose if you really want to, you can put this on top of a light, and you'll get some sort of let's see. I don't have any flashlights on me. I don't have any lights on me right now. But you can put light over here and then get some sort of lighting effect, I suppose. It's got this thing for the base, I suppose. And it's just one big piece. And yeah. But, you know, I don't have the space for these big dioramas, so I never really put my figures on them. Spare hand pegs. This is probably the stand for Kryptos. Okay, and Krypto's cape is wired, so there's that. I mean, I guess we really don't need an articulated Krypto, but from what I've seen, InArt's Krypto is much more painted well, and then it had a separate color. Well, this is sculpted on. It's good enough, I suppose, is the thing. The thing is with Hot Toys, with me, I'm not being a snob or anything. It's just that Hot Toys is like, it's a good enough product, but comparatively, InArt usually does better. However, in this particular case, it might not be. I know that with InArt, I like the face on InArt much better than this one. That's one of the main drags in this one. How does this go on? Is this like move forward, retract? I don't know. Oh yeah, so you can move it up and everything. So this is kind of like you can put this on his waist. This is for adjusting the eyes. This is an extra crystal that I suppose you can plug into this one if you don't want it. If you don't want to use the flight pose, which we will later on. Okay, we'll do that. And then I don't know what this is for. This is where the instructions comes in, but hey. Oh, this is for the top, it looks like. Nope, that doesn't go like that. Probably goes like this, yeah. Huh. So weird that it has it so high like that. This might actually be something that you can plug into this one, so you can fly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna leave this in the tray for now. This, by the way, is the magnetic thing if you want to use the magnet for the piece. This is felt. Do not remove this because you don't want the magnet to make contact with the material. I will say this. I made my own custom before with magnets. I don't want to use it if I don't have to because the attraction between the two magnets will squeeze the material in between. And in the older types of material, it actually will damage that material because of that constant pressure in. So I don't know if I'm going to be willing to do that. If I will, I'll probably do it just as a display. This is just for standing. I don't think he can fly with this one, like have him float or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. It's your toy, it's your money, it's your decision whether you want to use the magnet or not. I won't be. Yeah. All right, so let's it's got the instructions over here, which I'm not gonna open because I the cape is usually taped in here in the back, so we're gonna remove this one. That should release the cape. That's the other thing too, with InArt it comes with two capes, one wired, one not wired, and it drapes so beautifully. Like really, you can't, for this much of an expense, you can't just give us like a second cape that we can just put in, because wired capes, if you have any experience with, is just doesn't hang naturally. It just looks weird. You're kind of forced to pose it. How many hands were there? Because it fell off and I lost track. Let me put something on my table. I don't know what this is. It looks like it's some sort of oil, and I don't want it to get into my figure's fabric. All right, so as I said before, this is 280 and art is 305 or something like that. So not a lot of big difference between the two. The InArt comes with two heads, smaller base, a Krypto, a second set of boots. Yeah, so technically it's got more value than this one, and I prefer the head sculpt in that one. That's the reason why I wanted the Hot Toys, or the InArt rather than this one. But at this point, I'm like, beggars can't be choosers, because if I'm gonna get Supergirl, which I know I am because I already pre-ordered it, I needed a Superman to pair with it. And even though I didn't really like this Superman, because I'm a big Superman fan, I will give it a chance to, hopefully the next one will be better. And I wasn't really a big fan of the costume, especially with the new change of the emblem. I know it came from the Alex Ross Kingdom Come. I'm a big fan of Kingdom Come, but still, I am still, in terms of more the original emblem and everything. So on camera, I will say it's a lot more, the suit is a lot more brighter and vibrant in camera. I'm looking at the stitching, making sure I don't have any rips or holes or anything, because obviously this is a done deal. It's done, you know. So it looks like they stitched it closed in this one, which I'm not really a big fan of. They used to do it here in the back. Excuse me. I wish that they had done that. It's seamless here in the back, but I mean, like, that's the back anyway. It's gonna be covered by the cape. Even though they did it as good as they can, you really can tell that this is where they closed off the fabric. Because if you look at the stitching here, it's very nice and clean, while this one is big and huge. Has that smell of good rubber. The face, let's not talk about the face for now. Let's just keep looking at the costume. So why is this like that? This band of red down here, that doesn't look good. It's not as noticeable on camera, but I can see it. And then what's up with this one? Why is this going down and this one stopped there? Is that, it's exactly the same here. As you can see, it's different material, rubbery here. I am not very familiar with the suit design at all, so these are just things that's popping into my eyes. That's like weird and unusual. That's just an extra string and everything. The suit from Justin says that this is spandex, so it's not a rubberized suit, but you still have the screen printing on this one of rubber, so you'll still eventually have some stickiness going on and everything. So I don't know. I'm not familiar with the design of the suit, so I'm not familiar how close it is. It looks good. It looks like Superman. I actually like this suit because it's not as baggy as I've seen in the movie. This one has a little bit more of a heroic proportions. So I can see if that was some sort of gunkiness, or the arm can go. That's pretty much it. To the sides, I like this one where it's straight, so it's not just like something like that. Goes to the back, so you got some fixtures and everything. I'm gonna take off the head so I can remove this plastic thing. I'll do it off camera. Came off pretty easily. It's got this thing over here. This is just to protect the neck so that you don't. Oh, and while we're here, here's the eyes purse system. It's individual, so you can move it around and everything. When you're moving the head, I prefer that you pose it like that and then bring it down. So you take it off and then pose it, rather than actually moving it and rubbing against the skin. Okay. All right. Let's look at the face. So keep in mind, as I'm getting closer and closer, it's going to create fisheye effects and sort of distort the shape of the face, but I'm just doing that so you can see the paint application is going on with the skin, with the eyes. So yeah, I mean, like, and then look at the lips. So they went that far, and they sort of did a wash on the nose, so it's not just an open boring color. You got some gradations going on in the hair, so it's not abrupt. You get some sort of washing flesh tones on the ear. I will say that the connector on this one is less noticeable than with InArt. Plus, you can see that here is edged. That the jaggedness of the hair is the actual edge. With InArt, they actually didn't do that. If I recall, the hairstyle on this one is a lot more disheveled than InArt's. This is an actual separate piece that they put on there. You can't tell that it is. So that's a really nice seamless connection and everything. Honestly, I can't see David Corn Sweat in this one. I just can't. Hold on a second. Let me just put him up on the video. All right, so to be honest, like maybe if I'm like far away, I see. The thing is, when I look at it close up, the one I see is that actor who plays Shooter McGavin on Happy Gilmore, or Chances Are, or he was a famous actor. And honestly, when he was younger, he actually would have made a really good Superman. But this portrait, it's a good Superman. I just don't think it's a good David Corn Sweat portrait. I've looked on pictures. First off, the eyes. There's something off in the eyes, or maybe in the eyebrows area. His eyebrows aren't that in a downward pattern, and then the shape of the nose as well. The lower part of the face, the mouth, the jaw, it's close in certain areas, or in certain angles. When you do this, then you can kind of see Corn Sweat. It's when you add the eyes on where the problem occurs. I don't know. It's up to you. This is just obviously my personal observation and everything. But again, what can I say? It's like, it's good enough. Plus, I didn't really get it. I didn't have to pay a lot of extra for having it. That's the thing. So for the price that I got it for, That's the thing with Hot Toys, man. It's good enough, but when you're paying over $300 a figure, it's good enough, really, good enough for your collection. That's the thing. For me, I wanted a Superman and a Supergirl, and I will just erase the in art, and on my shelf, it should look good enough. Okay, so let's deal with this. I can't, I really prefer I think the in art one is closer to Corn Sweat's appearance, but even that one may not be perfect. So there's some plus and minus, and I'll talk about that. Let's talk about the articulation. From what I saw, it seems like, okay, so the in art one can't even do this kind of articulation. The suit is just in the way, and that's from what I've observed. Is the in art has a bit limited articulation, and so it can go over 90 on this one. The in art can't. The in art, this is spandex as described by Justin, and I'll take his word for it. It feels the same way as the regular suit that we've had with Affleck's BVS and everything. So also the Man of Steel from Hot Toys. But the one on InArt uses the same old fabric from the BVS Batman and Man of Steel Cavill Hot Toys. And it's thick, so it's preventing all the articulation. It's not able to do that. So unlike this one, looks good, or it has more range. So that's a plus towards the Hot Toys purchase. I've already talked about the cape. I prefer, it should have been a dual cape system where one is wired, one is not. Seems like my color is not completely on center, so I might need to futz that a little bit. This body doesn't have a articulation on the lower part of the neck. So all the articulation is going to come from the bottom of the head. And this is not a silicone body, so it's not like you can push the neck backwards. So all the angle, all the movement is going to come from just the neck. Can look up about that much. You can sort of push it out a little bit more by sort of pulling up on the peg, on the post, in conjunction with the movement of the torso. Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's almost back-breaking. I wonder, because I know the forward, the InArt couldn't do this one in the forward, to be honest. So that's not bad on the forward. And side to side, a little bit, just like a little bit. And InArt couldn't do that too. Like really, really limited range of move. I think InArt you can do like that much, or maybe that much. This one you can still kind of push it because of that spandex. It seems it's thinner. It feels the same though. Now, even though this is spandex, like I said, this is still screen printed rubber. So eventually, heat, especially now with the heat wave we're experiencing in California, you don't want, I'm not going to pose it strenuously with this rubber connecting and all that stuff, because it might damage it. The legs. So rotation on the legs, as you can see, there is some over here in this pelvic region. Movement forward. I'm going to try to push it as much as I can. Let's see how much it pushes back. So I'd say about 45 degrees. You can't really push any more than that. This one, how about backwards? About maybe 15 degrees, maybe 15 to 20 degrees. And outwards is the best one, almost 90. Yeah, and so what's probably inhibiting the movement forward and backwards, the fact that this fabric is just pulling and everything, because this one's free, it's just okay. And then the knees, I also know that with InArt all their joints were ratcheted at some point. The knees are double jointed. There's one here, there should be one down here too, but you can get it that high. There you go, there is one over here, so it was already moving. When it bunches up like that, just play with it a little bit and hopefully it comes back. The boots, interesting that it actually turns over here. One of the things that's scary, so the InArt one has a pre-pose boots on flight. Even though the regular boots, it has the same function as this one. One of the things I'm really scared about is the fact if this ankle peg breaks, that's basically it for your articulation here. So this one's not okay. Moving forward is good. Moving backward is good. It's actually got a good tension over here. It's just tension. There is no ratchets or anything on that ankle, but that is a good pose. I think the pre-pose one on InArt is just about the same angle. It's a bit stiff moving it first. I almost thought I was gonna break it, but eventually in time, as you keep moving that's gonna get loosened up and you won't have that. You'll have that same range, you just won't be able to hold it. Because it's a ball joint, you kind of have to position it so you can do a rocker, because right now there's the rocker. I'm so afraid of breaking this though, because I'm not seeing what I don't see the joint and everything. Let me change camera position so we can kind of pose him standing up. Just get some sort of natural pose. And actually, before we do that, let's change his fists to the closed fists. Comes off easily. Just squeeze it like that. That's fine. Yeah, I really like that one. This system right here makes it so easy. And the look of the pegs, I have to pull it out again. The ball joint seems bigger than usual, than what I'm normally used to. And then this one's a little bit more bigger. When you do it like that, it comes in really easily. Alright, so let me change the position of the camera. Alright, so I wanted to show off that if you don't want to use the magnets, you can use the waist grabber like this. But if you'll probably notice that it's leaning a lot forward because there's a lot of weight and you fully extended it. You can use this small bracket over here to keep it clamped together. That's a pretty good thing that they did that. But you can see how much distant it is in terms of what it should be. While on camera, I'll remove it and then we'll try to use the magnet system. So bear with me over here. So just if you want to loosen, just bring this down here, a bracket. That way you can unclamp him carefully. I'm going to remove this because it's going to be in the way if I use the magnets. And the magnets should be like around here. Whoa, that is freaking strong. Did you see that thing move? Yeah, that's pretty strong. Yeah, I would be very, very afraid of where it's touching the fabric over here. And now the lean is more like that. So it's like really leaning the body in this one. I mean, like we already know that it's got. So now the problem is he does lean forward too much, like forward back. I mean, you won't be able to see it from the front. Oh yeah, you do. It's like he's arching up, and see. Okay, what's going on then? Yeah, you can you can see where if you look here, when I'm moving it forwards, making the gap over here. That thing is so strong. It's actually holding on the bottom only, but it needs to be like this to make it look natural, but it's not. Interesting. It's an interesting problem. Then of course taking it off, it's just that's really strong. Look, this is how strong this magnet is, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the force. See if I can see that. See the pattern? It basically embedded the pattern of the fabric into this thing over here. Yeah, that is eventually that's gonna damage the fabric here. That's very strong though. And that's basically the only way you can do that. Huh. I like InArt's solution much better, where that's the other thing too. InArt will have a zipper over here. So theirs is a zipper and then you plug it in. No damage to the suit whatsoever. Because it's all gonna be behind the cape anyway. And speaking of capes, come on, it's just. And I've done this before where I've like really tried to make this like shape the wire so it hangs naturally. It's never gonna hang naturally like that. I mean, that's the thing with wired capes. And I think Justin said he's gonna buy a new cape, but this cape too, you see the sheen on this one, unlike this part over here. There's a sheen to this fabric. Look at that. Good luck finding this exact same type of material to do that. Like, see how it bends inward and then outward? That is gotta be a pain to make it look just to make it look natural, because sometimes having, yeah, see like that, just having that, sometimes that's the way is good. It looks good like that, you know. And then I don't know with InArt whether it can do a naturally hanging. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad like that. And then we have Krypto over here. Hold on a second. All right, so I brought out the Henry Cavill InArt version. I have the Hot Toys version as well, but I wanted to show off the flight system from InArt. Look at how much more straight that is, right? And then when you open this up, that's how it looks like. You see? Yes, when you lift the cape, you see this ugly zipper, but that's what the cape is for. And look at how well that cape drapes. I would assume that the InArt version of the Superman 2025 loose cape is like that. Like sometimes you just need the cape to flow very well like that. And like I was talking about the sheen on this cape, see how much more this has a sheen. This one doesn't. This is old though, but it could be just a dust, but I don't think so. So let me take off Cavill InArt and let's look at the comparison in terms of height. All right, so as you can see, the InArt Cavill is slightly shorter than Corn Sweat's Superman Hot Toys, which makes sense because supposedly Corn Sweat is either 6'4" or 6'2", and Cavill is only 6'1" or something like that. Um, but in terms of heroic proportions, I feel like the Cavill Superman is so much more heroic. In terms, it's got a narrow waist, wider chest, wider shoulders, and everything. However, actually looking at it on camera, like I said, though, I feel like this 1/6 scale representation of Superman is even better than what we see in the film, because in the film it looks so baggy. I think when I'm looking at the Superman 2 that's in production right now, it feels like it's a lot better, the design of the suit. Um, and I'm not gonna get the if Hot Toys makes another one, I'm not gonna get that one. Maybe I'll try to get the in art Corn Sweat head, but I heard that the paint flesh tone paint is a lot lighter. I don't know, and what I saw is like 150 for the head alone. But anyway, so I'm looking at it, it's like I actually think the 1/6 scale representation of this one is really, really good. It's just that S symbol is just really not my thing. Yeah, it's too far forward. It's too Alex Ross for me. Maybe I'll just get used to it. So I don't have the in-art Superman, obviously, but I'll say this. I feel like the head sculpt in that one is far better. Remember, there's only a $15-20 difference between the Hot Toys version and the in-art version. However, so the head sculpt in art, the cape in art, having the dual system on the boots, this one can do it too. So in-art didn't have to do two, but at the same time, you're not stressing the boots if you need it on flight mode. It's already pre-formed. So unlike this one, if the pegs break on the ankles in this one, that's pretty much it. You're toast. The accuracy of the design of the costume, I don't know. It looks the same to me. The cape, obviously, it's in art because Hot Toys, please don't be lazy, don't be cheap. Dual capes, one wired, one without the wire. I feel like that's a good compromise, especially if you're asking over around $300 for this one. I would have preferred a dual cape system than having this large diorama because, like I said, I don't really use those large bases for me. Plus, it doesn't work, right? That magnet system, trust me, guys, that pressure between the two strong magnets like that is gonna destroy the fabric of this suit, even though it's spandex, right? That heat, that pressure, that constant pressure will generate heat, and it's basically gonna melt that rubber. Trust me, it's gonna destroy it. I would not use it. Plus, the angle is all wrong. It's making it lean backwards. In order for him to lean forwards, it's not making contact. And then, I would even say this is a better option because it's leaning forward, but you can adjust that than the magnet. It's much safer for the figure. Yes, it's very intrusive with the black and everything, but trust me, in the long term, it's gonna be better for your figure. Articulation, I believe it's Hot Toys because of the fabric hues, spandex. It's thinner, it's more pliable. The articulation is just there. I'm sorry. I mean, in art is usually better with articulation than Hot Toys, but because it's got ratchets and everything. But in this case, I will say though, when I was watching Justin's, because Justin doesn't push the envelope when it comes to articulation, he does it safely. So with mine, I was able to push it a little bit more than what Justin showed. So maybe in art might be as well too. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have that on my hand. Man, look, right now here it kind of looks good, but it's like the head is small. In my viewpoint, I just see that other actor. I really do. Maybe in time it will disappear. I actually kind of like, even though it doesn't have the same heroic proportions as Cavill, this more barrel chested, more straight look of Superman. I kind of do like, and unlike because of it looks like this is. I always felt like this was higher. The belt sits too high in this thing. Hold on a second. Let me compare with the actual. So I was looking as the distance between the bottom of the emblem to the top of the belt. It's pretty accurate. Like he has that big high, kind of like an old man trunks up, but this seems like much too wide. Like maybe it should be like the yellow should be sitting over here. There shouldn't be that much of space in the red trunks. I don't know. I look at it. I look at it on live, and I'm looking at behind the camera. It's just so different between the two. Um, you know what? This costume really is kind of growing on me. It's just the emblem that I can't get past with, and even having the high color over here, that's fine with me. Um, but you know, this is the old style Superman and everything, so it's good enough. I paid $350 for it. I did not pay an exorbitant amount of money. The guy was very, very fair with his pricing. He probably made like $20 to $30 more than what he paid for it initially, and I'm kind of happy with something like that when it comes to having to pay aftermarket prices for it. Krypto, I don't really mind. He's okay. I think it's gonna be the same Krypto that I'm gonna get with Supergirl's Hot Toy Supergirl. This kind of sucks. But at least once she gets in here, I'll have both of them together, which is what I really wanted. Oh, I forgot. This was the second comparison that I wanted to do. That I wanted to show off. Oop, don't fall, please. And Art, you're quite expensive. The shoot, I forgot this guy's name, and I shouldn't because he's a really good actor. But look, he's hold on a second. All right, so Robert Pattinson is 6'1", and David Cornsweet, I don't know, is 6'4". That seems a little bit too drastic, though. This seems like it's more like 6 to 6'4", but I could be wrong. Or this is almost like a 5'11". You know what I mean? The difference almost like half a foot, I think. But anyway, and this is the Hot Toys version too. But I mean, like the design wise, I honestly think they could work together. It works very well together. Like he is more heroic, super heroic, with very simple design choices, not too many aggressive lines or anything like that, while Batman is more grounded, more tactical and everything. So yeah, I think that works very well, except for the height difference, which kind of sucks. So I'm quite happy with the what I got. Is it my first choice? It's not. I think I would have been happier with it in art if I had paid the original price of $305 for it. Even though the articulation is lacking, because when I'm gonna be posting this one, I'm gonna be posting it flight. At the most, maybe like I'll do something like that, which I think the in art one can do. If I'm gonna do anything to the body or anything like that, I think the in art can sort of do that. Yeah. So even though the articulation would have been lacking, the having the secondary head sculpt, having the fact that I like the head sculpt better on the in art, having the flowing secondary cape. Yeah, I would have preferred getting the in art, but this is good enough if you can get it, because I don't think I'll be able to get in art, to be honest. So it's almost like I know I wanted it because I know I'm getting a Supergirl. I needed to get a Superman to go with Supergirl. So that's why I needed to get it. But look at how much this thing lifts. I mean, it's going to take me over probably like 30 minutes of futzing just to keep this like laying down like that. Anyway, that's it for my review of Hot Toys' Superman. The actor playing it is David Cornsweet. It's actually Not bad. It's good enough. I'm sorry to say this. I mean, like for $300, you would think like, man, you shouldn't be satisfied. But I bought Hot Toys Henry Cavill for so long, so long. The last one that they did had a horrible face with that big nose, and I ended up getting, when InArt announced theirs, I ended up getting this one. I do have to say though, even this one doesn't lay flat on the shoulder. Maybe I'll give that as an excuse for Hot Toys. But this one is so beautiful. This face, so much. It's the perfect Henry Cavill face, and that's what I was expecting from InArt as well. So yeah, it's at $300. I would have preferred it closer to what I wanted to get, but at the same time, I admit the fact that I'm never gonna be able to get the InArt version. So I just basically, it'll be on my shelf like 5 feet away. It's a good enough representation of David Cornsett's Superman, which hopefully is more successful. I hope Millie Alcock is successful in Supergirl. She was really, really good at that film, I think. And the film was very, very enjoyable for me. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the review and found it informative. I'll see you guys in my next review. Bye.